Okay, well, thank you for your inquiry. This is a little video making some initial assumptions and pointing out some of the basic things that we can improve. And a lot of these points are going to depend on the keywords which we decide together are going to give you the biggest returns. And this will depend on an initial period of research to determine this. But let's assume that your most lucrative keyword is hand surgeon Houston, and kind of go from there and make some observations with that in mind. And the first thing to note is that your URL, Rearmyourselftexas, this doesn't contain the keywords, any keywords really. It doesn't contain anything that people would logically type in to find you. This used to be a huge factor. It's probably not as big as it was. It does help to have keywords in the URL in SEO terms. But I think perhaps more importantly here, is it a little bit confusing to the user? I'll be honest with you. I was reading it as a Rearmyourselftexas for a while until it clicked what it was. So when it's in this format, does it really speak to the user? So you could consider getting a new URL and perhaps doing a redirect from this old one to mop up any established traffic. If we look at your metadata, which is what Google displays to potential visitors, we can see that hand surgeon Houston is here prominently in the title tag, and you do have hand and surgeon in the description. This will partly account for the top organic ranking that you've got here. But again, if we decide other keywords are beneficial, we may decide to tweak this. And then we can, to be even better, we can look at putting these keywords in and around the content on the site. For example, if we look at your headings, the more prominent text here, we could be more optimized and put the actual keywords in here. And then we can put these keywords throughout the site, in the content, and there's a knack to this. You can put too few keywords in, and you can put too many, and this is known as keyword stuffing, where Google thinks you're trying to cheat it, and then we'll sort of punish you for that. So we have to get the keywords in with the correct frequency. We can also put these keywords on the image tags. This is the kind of the metadata of the images. You can put keywords in across there, and I think there's a bit of space on your site to do that. Now let's look at this blog. So you've got a blog, which is good, but it's sort of a perfunctory blog. It's there, but it hasn't been updated, I think, since 2014. And Google likes a blog because it wants to see that you're posting fresh and relevant content. It wants to see that you're the real deal, a real company, you're not just this kind of stale site. So it would be good to have a regularity to this blog, and put the relevant keywords in. And that will go some way to helping your rankings. It will perhaps gain the trust of people browsing the site because they see that you're real, they see that you're up to the minute. And also you can have some kind of easy ranks if you do this correctly, because let's imagine there's a buzzword in your industry, and you're one of the first people to write a blog about it. You'll find that that's not a very competitive term, and you can get position 1s and 2s nationally if you're quick enough on those terms, and that would generate inquiries with very little effort. Looking at the video you've got on the page here, it's great to have video. Again, people can see that you're real. But I question the fact that it's an external link, that it takes you away from the site. I mean, firstly, you get plus points with Google if you've got an actual video on your site. It's extra content. And secondly, there's a question about, do we want to take people away from your site? Do we want to lead them elsewhere? We want to keep them engaged, keep them on your site. So I think we should perhaps embed this video rather than leading people away. Other factors I think you've done very well. The sitemap's there, the robots file is there, which is instructions to Google to tell it how to view your site. We could perhaps add a custom 404 page here, the error page if there's a broken link. But getting very technical, part of the way the site is built is a bit of a drawback. There's too many Java files here. There's a few too many CSS files, and the site uses something called inline styles, which Google doesn't like this. It slows it down a bit. The load time on the desktop version of your site is actually pretty good, but the mobile load time is pretty slow, and this is going to affect both your rankings and of course the usability of the site. Let's take a look at your rankings then. And as we've said, you have got the number 1 position here for hand surgeon Houston, so that's very good. However, there's a massive miss here in that you've got this number 1 position, but you're not appearing in the local listings here in this area known as the 3-pack. And obviously you're missing out on a lot of custom here by not appearing. And these 3 guys are beating you, but if we look even deeper, we can see there's a whole host of guys that are beating you. And I think this is the biggest thing we need to focus on for quick and easy wins. We have to optimize your local listing. The fact that you've got the number 1 organic spot, this kind of non-local position, it means that you've done a lot of things right, and it means that you've got a lot of SEO juice already here. And it tells me that we don't have to do a great deal to get you appearing near the top of the local listings. There's some very simple things we can do. I mean, the listing isn't actually linked to your main domain, which is a really big error, and obviously very easy to fix. And we can get more local citations for you, mentions of your site on listings pages, and all this will help. You've actually got quite a lot of reviews, but there are some strategies to get more reviews, and we can actually encourage people on the site to leave reviews, and that will help. Looking at the PPC, the pay-per-click search, the paid advertising, your competitors here are all ahead of you, and this is something to consider. I mean, you could do this for some fast returns. Obviously it's going to be an ongoing cost, but it's a quick way of increasing traffic. But ultimately, as I said at the start, we need to agree the keywords that are right for your site. We need to study the search volume, study what converts for you, and then go and do a more thorough examination of your site and see where we can improve things. The other thing we can do is to create pages across the internet on respected, relevant sites that link back to you. And this is the biggest factor at the end of the day in what Google looks at for determining your ranking. So I hope this has been useful. It will be great to work with you, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.